So today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to do a quiz review we-do. So that means that I'm going to walk through it. You are going to learn the information or be reminded of the information. And then you are going to do a you-do, which is by yourself. Okay. So first thing we're going to take a look at, number 1. Simplify the following polynomial expression. Notice, we are subtracting my polynomials. Subtracting my polynomials. So when I subtract, I know that I need to distribute that negative to all of my other terms. I'm going to bring down my first term. Now, 9 becomes a negative 9. Negative 5x is plus 5x. 3x squared becomes a negative 3x squared. So now I'm ready to go in and I need to identify my like terms. I'm going to combine like terms. So I have 7x squared minus 3x squared. So I have 7x squared minus 3x squared, which ends up being 4x squared. Next, I'm going to look at my x's. Now notice 4 is next, but I know the way that I like my expression put out is I'm going to do a negative first, or I'm going to do the x's first. Okay, so I have a negative 6x plus 5x. Negative 6 plus 5 is actually negative 1, or just negative x. And then finally, I can do my constants. Okay, do my constants. So I have plus 4 minus 9. 4 minus 9 is negative 5. This right here would be my final answer. Okay, so that would be my final answer. Now, moving on to the second question. This is a multiplication question. I'm going to do it both ways. I'm going to do it box method and using double distribution. Now, with my box method, I need to make a 2 by 2 box because I have 2 terms in my first and 2 terms in my second. So I have 4x minus 3, x plus 4. My top left box, I get 4x times x, or 4x squared, negative 3 times x, negative 3x, 4x times 4, 16x, negative 3 times 4, or negative 12. Now again, I personally like to bring all of those down. So I have 4x squared plus 16x minus 3x minus 12. Combine like terms. So I really have 4x squared plus 13x plus 12. For those of you who prefer to do double distribution, 4x comes first times x plus 4 minus 3 times x plus 4. This is where I'm going to double distribute. Once here, once here. I get 4x squared plus 16x minus 3x minus 12. Still going to combine like terms. 4x squared plus 13x minus 12. So there is my final answer for, again, they're the same answer. Doesn't matter whether you use box method or double distribution, you get the same answer. Okay. Moving down, we're going to use our orders of operations. So remember, our order of operations. First one is our product of powers. If I am multiplying my variables, I add my exponents. If I am dividing my variables, I subtract my exponents. Power of a power. When you raise a power to a power, you multiply. Rational, we really don't talk about. In order to make a negative exponent a positive exponent, I move it to the other side of my fraction. So let's take a look here. I have 4x, y to the 6th, z to the 2nd. So I'm going to keep that one, which is actually 4 times x times y to the 6th times z to the 2nd. But if I look at my second one, it's to a power. I need to raise everything inside of it to a power. So I have 6 squared, x to the 3 times 2, y to the 6 times 2. At this point, I'm going to rearrange a little bit and keep my like terms together. So I have 4 times 6 squared, which I know 6 squared is 36. I have x times x to the 6th, or 3 times 2, y to the 6th times y to the 12th, and then z to the 2nd. Now, 4 times 36, 36 and 36 is 72. So I have 24, 12, 13, 14, 144. So now, when I multiply my variables, I add my exponents. So if there's no exponents, automatically 1. So I'm going to add these. So I have 144x to the 7th, y to the 18th, z to the 2nd. This right here is my final answer. Okay. Let's look at my next one. Remember, when I divide, I'm going to subtract my exponents. But what I need to do first is I need to take my numerator and I need to simplify that. Okay? So if I look, I have a 3 and a 10. So I'm going to multiply those first. 3 times 10 is 30. I only have x to the 3rd by itself, but I have a y to the 4th and just a y. Again, I am multiplying these, so really I'm going to add my exponents. So I have y to the 5th power divided by 5, x to the 4th, y to the 7th. So now I can go through and say, okay, 30 divided by 5 is 6. X to the 3rd is actually x to the 3 minus 4. My y is y to the 5 minus 7. Now, I don't have anything left on my denominator. So I really have 6x to the negative 1st power, y to the negative 2nd power. But I do not like these powers to be negative. So I'm actually going to say, okay, well, they're going to move to the other side of my fraction. So it's 6 over x, y squared. Because x is to the 1st power, I don't need to add anything there. All right, looking at my bonus. Again, this is a bonus. You will have a bonus question on your quiz so you can earn extra credit. Bernadette has a rectangular backyard that she needs to cover with grass. The width of the lawn is represented by the expression 5x minus 1. The length of the lawn is represented by the expression 4x squared minus 2x plus 3. What expression would Bernadette use to find the area of the yard? Well, let's draw her yard first. Okay, so the width of the lawn is 5x minus 1. The length is 4x squared minus 2x plus 3. We know that our area equals our length times our width. So all I'm going to do is take 5x minus 1 times 4x squared minus 2x plus 3. When I get to this point, I can use my multiplication. I can use my box method. Okay? So I have 4x squared minus 2x plus 3 And then I have 5x minus 1. Let's multiply. 5x times 4x squared gets me 20x to the third power. 5x times negative 2x is negative 10x squared. 5x times 3, 15x. 4x squared times a negative 1 would be negative 4x squared. Negative 2x times a negative 1 is a positive 2x. Negative 1 times 3 is a negative 3. So now I'm ready to combine terms. So I'm just highlighting these ones here specifically because those are terms I'm going to combine. I'm going to start with my highest exponent. 20x to the third power. Negative 4x squared minus 10x squared gets me negative 14x squared. Positive 2x and positive 15x is plus 17x. And then I keep my negative 3 on the end. So this right here would be the expression that shows me Bernadette's full area of her yard. Okay, so now what you're going to do, you're going to go in and you're going to work on the you do. So you're going to work on 1, 2, 3, 4 and the extra bonus question. Okay, use your notes. Make sure you double check what we just did up here so that you can get the best possible information for your